Welcome to Peak TV. I'm Niv Dagan, Executive Director of Peak Asset Management, and we're fortunate to have Paul Gavin, CEO of Avecho. Paul, welcome.
Hi, Niv. How you going?
Fantastic. Paul, Avecho, we're a strong believer, we're a strong backer. Tell us a little bit about the company and what you do.
Sure. So, look, Avecho has actually been around for about 20 years, and during that time, we've developed a quite unique platform drug delivery technology. And so what we've routinely done is use that tech to reformulate pharmaceutical products, give them some sort of key advantage or differentiation, and then conduct clinical trial works to really demonstrate that the stuff that we've built into it adds real value for potential licensees and patients. And so, yeah, I mean, we've spent that mostly in the pharmaceutical biotech space, but recently have started looking at more at medicinal cannabis.
And Paul, tell us a little bit more about the TPM technology with vitamin E and also just the CBD market. Why CBD? Why the TPM? And a bit more about the technology itself.
Sure. So TPM, I'll try and lay it down and make it a bit layperson. But TPM it's a phosphorylated form of vitamin E. We manufacture it here in Melbourne. It's the sort of foundation of our patent portfolio. So, and what happens is vitamin E phosphate, when you put it into a system that contains water, it will self-assemble into tiny little balls, tiny nanoparticles less than the width of a human hair, and they encapsulate drug at quite high efficiency. And so what we found is that using this TPM, you could solubilize and encapsulate lipid-soluble drugs, and so cannabinoids are lipid-soluble drugs, and you can increase their bioavailability. So more of what you eat is actually absorbed, or more of what you apply to the skin is actually absorbed for biological use. So I guess why CBD? A couple of reasons, really. So, I mean, medicinal cannabis has existed predominantly as an unregistered medicine so far. And so it hasn't had a whole lot of high quality data supporting the kind of patients that will benefit and the kind of pharmaceutical dosage forms that we're used to. So what we've looked at specifically is the problems associated with CBD, and that's oral bioavailability. So when you eat medicinal cannabis, you only absorb about 10% of what you eat. So you're paying for 90% of material that is basically just wasted. So we're using our TPM to increase the bioavailability, give you a better therapeutic effect, reduce cost to patients, and do all the clinical trial work to register it to make it a true pharmaceutical product.
And what are the advantages? Can you just elaborate about the benefits and the advantages of that technology over others in the market?
Sure. So there's a couple, really. So, I mean, there will be other technologies that come along and increase oral bioavailability. I mean, most of those will be based on surfactants or detergents. So the first pass for us is obviously ours is a form of vitamin E. So it's safe and efficacious, and beyond its safety, the vitamin E phosphates themselves actually have a range of very attractive biological properties. So it has vitamin E activity, but it has enhanced vitamin E activity. And where this actually fits beautifully with CBD is that the TPM itself has anti-inflammatory properties. Now, CBD is being prescribed for a lot of conditions that involve inflammation. And so we have a delivery vehicle that will increase the absorption of cannabinoids so that you get a better therapeutic benefit. But the delivery technology itself may also add some therapeutic benefit to that condition. And that's unique amongst the delivery agents that are being explored at the moment.
And you touched on a very, very interesting point. I mean, just the deliverable of it. I mean, is it done in a capsule form, or is it done orally? Is it done? I mean, how's it actually been delivered, and how big is the addressable market?
Yeah, so look, I mean, we started like everyone else with an oil formulation, just because, we've got a background using our technology in oil and we know it works, and everyone was comfortable with oils. But moving forward, we've got a lot of pharmaceutical advisors who've all said the industry needs more pharmaceutically acceptable dosage forms. So we optimized an oil formulation to give best bioavailability, and then we've taken that. We gave it to Catalent in the US, who are one of the world's biggest soft gel capsule manufacturers, and they've taken our formulation and now packaged it into tiny little soft gel capsules. So it'll have a dose per capsule of 75 milligrams, and it's a much more palatable pharmaceutical dosage form. So people aren't trying to drink oils or put oils under the tongue. They'll just take a tablet. I mean, as far as addressable market, I mean, obviously medicinal cannabis is huge. And we're very hopeful that a product that has clinical backing and, is a pharmaceutically acceptable dosage form with increased bioavailability will capture a big chunk of that. We're initially pointing it in Australia at Insomnia, which is about 250 million in Australia. But the product obviously has applications all around the world, not just for insomnia, but for a whole range of indications, and not just the pharmaceutical market, but also the consumer markets and the unregistered medicinal cannabis. There's data coming around for the UK talking about CBD itself, which is what our product is. CBD itself in the consumer space will be worth about £1 billion in a few years' time. So there's a lot of avenue to derive value from this product beyond Australia.
Yeah, it's a huge market, and it's not very, very often that you do see, saying a little minnows in that 30, 40 million market cap being Avecho, and you've got that manufacturing partner as a New York-based, listed Catalan. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. So all credit to you and the team on that front. So, and you did recently announce just an update on the TGA and the Insomnia side with Canvalate. Do you want to just elaborate on that and how important that is?
Sure. Look, I mean, the whole S3 piece with Australia. So what S3 is, so the TGA late last year changed their guidance as to how CBD products could be registered in the future. And so what that new change means is that pure CBD products can be registered as over-the-counter medicines, which means that you can just go into a chemist and buy your CBD for insomnia without going to a GP and paying all those additional costs. Now, where the rub is with that is that it has a maximal daily dose of 150 milligrams, and it can only be for candidate indications that patients can self-diagnose. And so when we looked at that kind of aspect, it fits perfectly with what we can do because we can increase the absorption and everything. But the whole S3 piece, this over-the-counter medicine and how the TGA will look at cannabis is a completely new thing. And so we looked around and went, oh, it is a brand new industry, but who's got the most experience talking to the TGA on this so far? And it was Canvalate. So, we've spoken to the Canvalate guys. We've already learned a lot about how we would position our product based upon the feedback they've already had from the TGA. And so we've bundled up our product with them, and they're sort of designing the package and the questions that we would go to the TGA with, just based on all the experience they've had with the TGA so far.
From an investor's perspective, let's say fast forward 3 to 6 months, what can we expect? I mean, there's obviously, you've got the patents in place, you've got the technology, you've got the manufacturing partner, you've got the TGA side on your side with Canvalate, et cetera, Insomnia and other verticals. I mean, as an investor, what are you excited most about?
Look, I mean, as an investor, I mean, we're about to step into really proper pharmaceutical clinical trials that support registration of a product. So, I mean, we've historically been, working in products that have long clinical trial campaigns. This is not one of them. This is really the shortest clinical trial campaign for a product we've ever looked at. So, I mean, we'll go to the TGA very shortly. We'll submit our package probably next month, hopefully, and then the timeline for meeting them might be the month after or the month after that, depending on how busy they are. So we'd come back to the market with, a good description of the development plan that we've got in place that the TGA has ticked off, and all the milestones and resulting news flow that will come out of that. We'll have updates around the GMP manufacturing campaign of our product with Catalent in the US. So that's all happening now. We have a phase 1 clinical trial, which is hopefully kicking off towards the end of Q3 using this GMP product, and that will go into the TGA submission. And then across all of this, we're designing the sort of pivotal phase 3 efficacy studies, which will hopefully kick off in the early new year. So we are flat chat, and there's a lot to talk about. I mean, obviously as well, we've got a number of people that we're talking to about the product for other markets and other territories, and we're comfortable that people are interested in the product, and we hope to be partnering with other people for various jurisdictions as well in the meantime. So yeah, lots of stuff to come, Niv.
Paul, big supporter, so thanks very much for joining us here at Peak TV.
No worries.